अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Okay, thank you. So last class we started with the fourth chapter, the transcendental knowledge or Jnana Yoga. Okay. So I think we finished first 5 slokas, I believe. So this chapter is categorized into this 5 major categories. One is what is the history of Bhagavad Gita, when it came, how it came, what is the understanding from the parampara, and then Lord's appearance, and what is Lord's Bhagavan's real objective of coming down to this material world. What are the real activities, and then what is it? So that part, and then the other knowledge is, as if you see from a whole chapter perspective, it is everything is the knowledge, and how the knowledge is constructed. Knowledge is constructed about understanding about what is Bhagavad Gita, how it came, what is the purpose, then understanding about the Supreme Lord, and then what Lord gave. Lord gave about very important aspect of the performance of karma. Like whatever we have seen in the third chapter about importance of karma yoga, how that is getting specified into this karma, akarma, and vikarma portion. And then how does the jivatmas perform the yajna, dhana, and tapasya, 3 main things. And finally, importance leading to knowledge. And how does the knowledge will come? Definitely that knowledge will come through a spiritual master or through a bona fide guru from the parampara. Okay, that is how it is getting structured. And finally, Krishna concludes the chapter that yes, you are performing the action is okay, but most importantly, action without knowledge will lead to bondage, which means we'll never get into the liberated state or moving away from this one. So action with knowledge is the completeness, or more, in fact, more perfection. Okay, so devotion service also means what? You have to perform an action, work, but with knowledge. What is that knowledge is what we are trying to understand from this chapter. Okay, so last class I think we saw um, uh, the historical timeline, how when Krishna was mentioning to Arjuna that this particular Bhagavad Gita is not just spoken now, it has been spoken many millions or millions of years ago. And then the chain got broken, and then uh, he is trying to re-establish. And Arjuna was asking, and why specifically Arjuna also, we saw in the sloka, specifically why Arjuna sloka, I mean, Bhaktos mein Saka Seti. So he is also a devotee and a friend. So that is the only qualification for understanding Bhagavad Gita. So we have to become a devotee of Krishna, then then the knowledge revelation will automatically count. And then immediately Arjuna asked this question, you're talking about Vivasvantam Arjuna, but we are there together, but how it is possible? Then Krishna mentions about his knowledge, his understanding is very limited to this particular, Arjuna's understanding is limited to this particular material, this particular lifetime. But Krishna remembers all the past, whatever happened, and he remembers everything. and as well as he knows the present, as well as he's going to remember he knows the future also. Okay, so that is where the main point of that we saw. Okay, so and in that very specifically, Prabhupada mentions three important points. One is we cannot have, even though Krishna looks like us, even though Krishna acts like any human body, but the atheist and then demons do not understand Krishna as the supreme person of Godhead. So the understanding of Bhagavad Gita has got multiple purposes, and one of the purposes is to understand Krishna thoroughly and make sure that Krishna, the establishment fact that Krishna is the supreme personality of God is also one of the important facts. So his body and our body is different. His form is different. His actions are also completely different. Okay, so in the coming slokas, we are going to see wonderful this section of Janma Karmesme Divyam and then Paritrana Sadhunam. All these slokas are wonderfully structured in such a way that Prabhupada gives the knowledge. One is Krishna giving the knowledge about himself, Krishna giving the knowledge about what is karma, Krishna giving the knowledge about what a Jivatma has to perform from a yajna, dana, and tapasya, etc. But more importantly, what Prabhupada wants to bring is also very nicely mentioned. Last class also we saw about how the Bhagavad Gita has been there for many years. Many of them have given a lot of interpretations. But why specifically Bhagavad Gita as it is? And then he made a very humble attempt that this is a very humble attempt. Right. So that is where we can see Prabhupada's mood and mission also. Okay. So let's get into the next set of slokas. 4 point. We have finished Ajopi Sanavya Yatma, right? Sambhavami. Oh, we have to finish. We have to start with this sloka. We finished the fifth sloka, correct? Yeah. Bahunam Sorry. Bahuni Veditani Janmani Tava Arjuna. Okay. This. And this Parantapa is also nicely called out. Okay. He's a great warrior, but still he will not be able to, even though that is what materially, even though we are highly qualified, there will be so much of things, but still at some point of the time, the Jivatma will not be able to remember anything. So leave out going to the next life or the past life. We will not be even able to remember what has happened in our own life after some period of time. Right? That is the fact. Okay, let's go to the sloka. Yeah, please read. Who wants to read? Should I call out somebody?
I can read properly.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
अजोऽपि सन् अव्ययात्मा भूतानामीश्वरोऽपि सान् प्रकृतिं स्वम् अधिष्ठाय सम्भवामि आत्ममायया. Translation. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the lord of all living entities, by my internal energy I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Purport. The Lord has spoken about the peculiarity of his birth. Although he may appear like an ordinary person, he remembers everything of his many, many past births, whereas a common man cannot remember what he has done even a few hours before. If someone is asked what he did exactly at the same time one day earlier, it would be very difficult for a common man to answer immediately. He would surely have to dredge his memory to recall what he was doing exactly at the same time one day before. And yet, men often dare claim to be God or Krishna. One should not be misled by such meaningless claims. Then again, the Lord explains his Prakriti or his form. Prakriti means nature as well as Swarupa or one's own form. The Lord says that he appears in his own body. He does not change his body as the common living entity changes from one body to another. The conditioned soul may have one kind of body in the present birth, but he has a different body in the next birth. In the material world, the living entity has no fixed body but transmigrates from one body to another. The Lord, however, does not do so. Whenever he appears, he does so in the same original body by his eternal potency. In other words, Krishna appears in this material world in his original eternal form with two hands holding a flute. He appears exactly in his eternal body, uncontaminated by this material world. Although he appears in the same transcendental body and is Lord of the universe, it still appears that he takes his birth like an ordinary living being entity. And although his body does not deteriorate like a material body, it still appears that Lord Krishna grows from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth. But astonishingly enough, he never ages beyond youth. At the time of the Battle of Kurukshetra, he had many grandchildren at home, or in other words, he had sufficiently aged by material calculations. Still, he looked like a young man, 20 or 25 years old. We never see a picture of Krishna in old age because he never grows old like us. Although he is the oldest person in the whole creation, past, present, and future, neither his body nor his intelligence ever deteriorates or changes. Therefore, it is clear that in spite of his being in the material world, he is the same unborn eternal form of bliss and knowledge, changeless in his transcendental body and intelligence. Factually, his appearance and disappearance are like the sun's rising, moving before us and then disappearing from our eyesight. When the sun is out of sight, we think that sun has set, and when the sun is before our eyes, we think that sun is on the horizon. Actually, the sun is always in its fixed position, but owing to our defective, insufficient senses, we calculate the appearance and disappearance of the sun in the sky. And because Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are completely different from that of any ordinary common living entity, it is evident that he is eternal, blissful knowledge by his eternal potency, and he is never contaminated by material nature. The Vedas also confirm that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unborn yet. He still appears to take his birth in multi manifestations. The Vedic supplementary literatures also confirm that even though the Lord appears to be taking his birth, he is still without change of body. In the Bhagavatam, he appears before his mother as Narayana with 4 hands and the decorations of 6 kinds of full opulences. His yeah. His appearance in his original eternal form is his causeless mercy bestowed upon the living entities so that they can concentrate on the Supreme Lord as he is, and not on mental concoctions or imaginations which the impersonalist wrongly thinks the Lord's form to be. The word Maya or Atma Maya refers to the Lord's causeless mercy. According to the Vishwakosha dictionary, the Lord is conscious of all his previous appearances and disappearances, but a common living entity forgets everything about his past body as soon as he gets another body. He is in the Lord. He is the Lord of living entities because he performs wonderful and superhuman activities while he is on this earth. Therefore, the Lord is always the same absolute truth and is without differentiation between his form and self or between his quality and body. A question may now be raised as to why the Lord appears and disappears in this world. This is explained in the next verse. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice purport. But some points you might assume why it is getting repeated again and again. I can understand. But Prabhupada wants to go very detailed to understand or to make an important point that Lord's body, Avyayam, okay, the word Avyayam is very important. And I am the Lord of all. See, here itself is Ishwara Apisan. Okay, he started declaring he is the supreme person, supreme Lord, supreme Bhagavan, right? But still Arjuna and we are not getting we are trying to understand the concept from the fourth chapter. But how it culminates and totally ends up in the is mostly in the 10th chapter, 11th chapter, and forward. Okay, 9th chapter also Krishna talks about the entire devotional service, devotional aspects, Gugya Margyadam. So it is all secretly mentioned, but still it is towards the Supreme Lord. So this is already mentioned. But still the final conclusion will, final surrender or final understanding will come from the 10th and the 11th chapter when he reveals the from the 10th chapter, sorry, from the 10th chapter and 11th chapter also the same understanding. Okay. But the very important point, some of the main important point is I mean, what is his transcendental eternal form? His original eternal form is with 2 hands only. So whichever form that you see as the Mahavishnu or Narayana form of 4 hands is also an expansion only. Okay. So somebody will ask why human beings has got this 2 hands, 2 legs, and what is the secret behind this kind of a form? Right? There are other, for example, monkeys are also there, other forms. So many forms are there. Every living entity generally is categorized into certain aspects of the hands, legs, either wings or whatever be it, right? How does that design come? How does that say every living entity has some specific body parts like no the brain, eyes, ears, the sense organs, then the heart, lungs, everything, right? Even the hands, everything. How does it come? It comes through the design made by the Supreme Lord because he himself has got this original eternal form. Okay. And he is the Sham Sundara form. And so all the Jivatmas, whichever way they when you want to get, they are getting into that particular act. That's all. Okay. He appears exactly in his eternal body, uncontaminated by material body, which is very important. Okay. So it is not contaminated. It is not contaminated, and his Swarupa is always eternal. That is a very important point. Okay, and he also knows what is the past. He's the oldest person. So some of them will say when Krishna was having this Mahabharata battle, he was about 125 years or something. Okay, 125 years is more than is like great grandfather, right? He already had great grandchildren, and all, right? Pradyumna was married, and then Anuruddha was married, Sambha was married, all of them married, and they have their children. So which means he is already a great grandfather and grandfather, right? But still he was Nava Yauvanam. He was always youthful, right? So he is always youthful. There's nothing called beyond that certain particular thing. Okay? His body is chancellor. So this particular section we can compare between how Krishna talks about the Jivatma and then the body deterioration in the second chapter, right? So in the second chapter, we will talk about very detailed about how the Jivatma is eternal, but body keeps changing, how Jivatma can do. So all those parameters. But here, the same thing, when you apply it for the Supreme Lord, it is completely eternal. It is completely non-destructible. It is completely the same. Either his Atma Maya, either it is his form, his body, his soul, everything is eternal. Okay, and Prabhupada gives this wonderful analogy also about sun. It doesn't mean that sun is moving away from our eyesight. Okay. So Prabhupada also gives this understanding when Krishna appeared as in the mother in Devaki mother's womb, immediately he showed his Sangha Chakram Gada in a baby form, right? With the crown, everything he showed. And then Mother Devaki was kind of very frightened and afraid, and then she said, "Can you come back to normal baby form?" Immediately he came back to normal baby form. Okay, so that others also can accept him, right? So then that is where we can understand. Okay. And there are particular slokas in particular sections that even Jivatmas also, when you go to Vaikuntha Loka, when you go to other Loka, you will have four forms. Uh, all the living entities in the Vishnu Loka or Vaikuntha Loka, you'll have four hands, right? So there is what is this? In Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavatam, there is a specific section where Janvi Mata, Nityananda Prabhu's wife, when she was doing some activity, right? She was doing some cooking activity. Suddenly her pallu, her I mean the sari on her head came down. And she was doing some, okay, she was doing some atta, something like that, right? But as per tradition, the head should be covered, right? Immediately she she brought out the four hands and then it covered. And same time when she was doing some other activity, a crow came or some bird came and she was doing some activity. Instead of throwing some stone, the other two hands from her body came out and threw the stone. Okay, this is all mentioned in the Chaitanya Leela. So which means whenever the Jivatmas have also the same kind of the form that Lord has got, and then our form is more from a material perspective. But whenever required from a great personalities, it will come and then it will go. Okay, that is what we can understand. So now so logically what will happen? Okay, we can understand Krishna is eternal. Krishna is Sambhavami Atmamaya. Sambhavami means coming or appearance, right? So Prabhupada is making the word incarnate. Okay, so I incarnate Atmamaya by his own eternal energy. So what is the purpose of Sambhavami will be mentioned in the 7, 8, and 9th slokas. Okay. Clear? We can go to the next sloka.
Probably one question there. So when we say that Krishna comes in the same transcendental body when he comes into this material universe. So are we talking like, is it only Krishna when he came as Krishna or when he came as Ram also?
Yeah,
So,
all forms of the Lord, whether it is Kurma, it is Matsya, everything, whatever he's taking that particular shape or that particular form. That's all. But everything is transcendental. In Bhagavatam, if you read through Varaha Puranam, the Lord's body is so beautifully explained when the hog form or pig form, right? The hairs, his body color, everything is transcendental.
okay, so it's not like that he looked same as Ram or Krishna. It's that the body was transcendental, not maybe. Okay.
Correct. So when he came as Mohini Avatar, when he came as Dhanvantri, whatever be it, The outer, from a material perspective, the form like will look like this, female form, animal form, or human form, or whatever be it. But whatever form he took, it is transcendental. Whatever shape, whatever way you want to convey, he took the fish form, right? Even in that fish form also, it is transcendental. That's all. There's no transcendental means, what is the word for unborn in Sanskrit? You saw in the previous sloka. What is the word for unborn?
Ajanma.
Aja, aja. Aja. So some of the Sanskrit words you should be able to. Avyaya means eternal. Achyuta means infallible. Like that, if you try to note it down about Krishna's qualities and Krishna's forms, you'll get a lot of this kind of names or this kind of Sanskrit pronunciations. Okay. Okay. This seventh sloka, 7, 8, 9, and then 7, 8, 9. Okay. We can have a group discussion because 7, 8, 9 is very beautiful. Most of us will know about yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharat abhyuktana dharmasya. This sloka is also very nice. And then paritrana sadhunam is also very nice. And janma karma chame divyam is also very nice. This slokas, three slokas, we can have a small discussion. Okay. I'll take about, we will take about 15 minutes. Each of us will just go through as a group. We can do a group exercise on this because purport is very nice and the concept is also very importantly for us to understand, because these three slokas are very, very importantly where Prabhupada also um, quotes these slokas in many of the other sections wherever required. And for us also, whenever you do a preaching, Paritrana Sadhunam, and then Janma Karma Chime Divyam, and then Yada Yada Dharmasya. These three slokas are very important. When you want to talk about Krishna, these slokas are the main important aspects in which it will reveal what is the purpose of his avatar and why he is called an avatari, and what are all the important aspects that we need to bring it out. Okay, in terms of when Krishna declares Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam, so which means his Janma and Karma is Divyam. So what is the purpose of understanding that knowledge? Similarly, when he says Paritana Sadhunam Vinashaya Dushkrita, what is that Dushkrita part? And then Dharma Samsthapanartha, when he is establishing Dharma, what is the background about it? Okay, we can just it's about 9 o'clock now. We just take about 15 minutes only. Each of us, I'll just divide the group. Maybe we can do one more sloka also. We can do the fourth sloka also. Yeah, ye tamam prapatyanti. No. Vitaraha bhayapura manmana. Okay. This sloka, I think we can. Let's do one thing. I'll divide into 411. Till 411 also we can do. Today we'll target about, today's target is about 15 slokas. I mean, at least at 4:15 we have to finish. Okay, let us see how quickly we can finish. Okay. So I'll divide into 7. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 5 rooms, 5 groups. We are around what, 17, 16 of us, right? So it's okay, 5 rooms, 3 of us, 3 in each room, and then 5 slokas, 7 to 11. Okay. So bring out the salient points, what Prabhupada wants to mention in the purport, and also your realization, which is very important when you read through the purport. Most importantly is to get the knowledge. Second is about what is that realization you want to share. That is also very important. Okay.
So, Prabhu, each group one sloka or all five?
For example, I'll tell if room number 1 is sloka number 7, room number 2 is sloka number 8, room number 3 is sloka number 9, room number 4 is sloka number 10, room number 5 is sloka number 11. Okay, 7 to 11. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah, I think should be fine. Hare Krishna, Raj Keshav Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna Babuji.
Hare Bol. Prabhu, there is a group discussion going on now. I'll put you into some room. Okay, you can join any one of the rooms, Prabhu.
Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah.
it says here that although the Lord appears on the schedule, but it's not he has no obligation to adhere to such rules and regulations, but he is completely free to act in many ways at his will. So I had a doubt, as in according to the scriptures, now the next avatar would be the Kali avatar. So it is possible that he might, take an avatar before that, because it's there's no obligation for him. So if the situation is really bad, so is it? What do you feel? I mean, what are your views on this?
Yes, true, Mataji. It is he comes in the hidden form, like in the holy name. All the potency is in the holy name. When the moment we chant, the Lord is with us, and in the form of holy name.